Yeah, thank you very much. We have some GGs on it.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another edition of SMB, a South Park review, where each and every week me and my amigos like to break down South Park for you in linear fashion. That means we do it in order from beginning to present. And we're back this week for season 16, episode 11, Going Native. It's time for our little boy Butters to become a man. All right, well, let's get started. We'll get right into it. Going Native is the 11th episode of season 16, the 234th overall episode of South Park, as it originally aired on October the 17th, 2012. It's time for Butters to begin a journey to follow his path of his Hawaiian ancestors. So this episode starts out, South Park Elementary. The boys are at lunch as Cartman runs in. He tells everyone that Butters just beat up Scott Malkinson. I'm Scott Malkinson. I had diabetes and I lived. They're all shocked. They get up to go find him, where Butters has apparently locked himself inside the bathroom stall. Stan knocks on the door and Butters refuses to open the door. Kyle tells Butters he can't go around beating up people, and Butters charges out of the bathroom and starts yelling at Kyle. Butters says Kenny is the only person in the school with dignity, and then he locks himself back in the bathroom, that being Butters. So the boys are all like, Kenny, your best friend wants to talk to you. He's not very happy. So they basically throw it on Kenny because Butters says Kenny's the only one that has any dignity in the school. So let's start there. We'll start with a couple clips here. Another edition of SMB, a South Park review.
Fellas! What? You'll never guess what happened. Butters just beat up Scott Malkinson. Butters? Why? It was crazy. Scott was just talking about how he needed to take his insulin shot, and out of nowhere, Butters said he's sick of people with diabetes feeling sorry for themselves. Scott told Butters to shut up, and Butters just started wailing on him. You're talking about Butters.
That's right, Butters. Aaron Butters is fighting back.
Butters is the man, though.
He's fighting back. He's like, yeah, I'm not taking this anymore. People with diabetes should be ashamed of himself, essentially. Butters is tired of it.
Dude, I'm telling you, Butters beat the crap out of Scott, and then he locked himself in the bathroom.
Now the boys are going to go check on him.
Butters?
Bathroom's locked.
Leave me alone. Butters, come out here. Get out of here, all of you. Butters, people can't just go around beating up people who have diabetes.
And of course, as soon as Kyle starts talking, this somehow triggers Butters, like, the moral compass Kyle that he is. Like, oh, really? So Butters is going to come flying out of his bathroom, as I mentioned.
Now, whatever your problem is, you just think you know everything, don't you, Kyle? Every little thing, you got to shoot your mouth off like you're the freaking expert. Well, you don't know everything because your best friend is a kid who thinks the entire planet revolves around him, and he only cares about his image.
That's true.
Ooh.
That's true.
Ooh, Butters. Let's go.
Butters dropping knowledge, Stan's been known to care about his image and jack it off in San Diego.
Jacking off in San Diego.
Twice. It's happened twice. Yeah,
Jagging
exactly.
it, Jack.
Yeah. After, of course, the Bully Bucky's bench, whatever. Bully Bucky's, Billy's, Bully fucking Adventure, Bully Bullshit Club. And then the ziplining episode, of course, after Stan spoke about the dangers of ziplining, he then ended up back in San Diego jacking it.
You guys think Cartman is the only selfish piece of crap at this school? You're all fake and stuck up, and none of you have the courage to tell Jimmy that his jokes aren't funny. The only kid here with any sense of dignity is Kenny, and the rest of you have your heads up your butts.
Kenny, the look on Kenny's face, like, what did I do? Now, of course, Cartman's response.
Well, apparently Kenny is Butters' best friend. You guys gonna make out, Kenny?
Hey!
Yep, they're going to make out. What do you mean the look on Kenny's face? You can hardly see his face.
Well, when he originally, look at his eyes.
You have your heads up your butts.
Look at Kenny's face.
You're
Look at his eyes. Watch.
Stuck up, and none of you have the courage to
He
tell Jimmy that
reacts.
his jokes aren't funny. The only kid here with any sense of dignity is Kenny, and the rest
Watch.
of
Look what are you looking at me for? Like he starts shuffling back and forth. You know what I mean?
Looking at everyone thinking they're going to be mad at him for being the goody two shoes. I know that game.
Right? All right. So as we mentioned, hey, it's your boyfriend, your best friend, whatever. You might want to check on him. All right. So we'll stop here for a second. All right. So now inside of Principal Victoria's office, don't you know, she calls Linda and Steven Stotch and tells him that Butters' behavior is not acceptable. He tells Steven he's pissed off and tells him to shut up after he threatens to ground Butters. Steven tells Principal Victoria that Butters must have an extended leave away from school. At this point, the Stotch residents, Steven and Linda, are arguing about Butters leaving. Butters demands to know what's going on. It's revealed that he must go to his birthplace for his Hapa Noa. Steven tells Butters that he is a native of Hawaii. He pulls out a book and starts telling Butters the traditions of Hawaiian people. And Steven gives Butters his Mahalo rewards card and sends him on his way. All right, so let's talk about that. Let's go ahead and we'll show a little bit of Butters' family having a little bit of struggle with the fact that they now need to send Butters away, as well as the reaction Butters gives off at school to start this all.
Hit us with it.
Getting worse.
Butters, what on earth has gotten into you?
I don't know, Dad. I'm just pissed off, I guess.
Do you think this behavior is fair to your teacher and classmates?
I don't suppose it is, but I don't give a darn.
Do you have any idea how grounded you are about to be, mister?
Why don't you shut up, Dad, and stick it in your ear for crying out loud?
I mean,
He meant stick it in your ass.
I know, but of all the times that his dad disciplines him and doesn't take care of him, it's definitely a nice little come up in here for Butters, right?
Well, this is one of Butters' greatest moments in line, is just because it's like the moment that the little boy puts his foot down to his dad and says, "No, hold on, I make my own choices too, Dad. Let's go."
Let's go. So now they're going to talk about it further with Principal Victoria.
Steven, are you thinking what I'm thinking?
Yes. Our little Butters is flowering. He has reached the age of Panua.
Excuse me?
Principal Victoria, this isn't Butters' fault.
It's not?
It has to do with biology. You've maybe noticed that Butters isn't exactly like other kids.
So we're thinking maybe we're going to get some sort of big reveal, right? Big identity reveal, like Butters has come from some long of lineage, in which he kind of sort of has, but in this case, because he did get technically born into Hawaiian lands.
Yeah?
You probably think Butters seems somehow different.
Hey, yeah, all the time.
It's because he is. His mother and I, our whole family, we're not of this place.
I'm sorry, I really don't understand.
Please just try to understand that for our people, it's a very private matter. He can't be helped by your discipline. This must be dealt with by his own kind. If it's all right with you, we'd like an
By his
extended
own
leave
kind?
for our boy.
Oh, they really take this seriously, don't they? I will say, however, like if you're a male, at least in the United States, I don't know if every culture is like this, but if you're a male in the United States, you've had that moment. I mean, if you were lucky enough, not everybody was raised with their father or was able to have that privilege and whatnot, but everyone with a father and grew up with theirs has kind of had this moment of no, I'm actually gonna start going my own path, a different direction. I'm gonna put the foot down. I'm old enough. And Butters' dad immediately reacts to this and sends him away. Can't hear you.
Yeah, as in his dad has experience going through this, right? Probably going through it himself is what he's alluding to. So here's Butters and his mom, Stotches, the parents now arguing in the house.
Dude,
Sponsored by
We can
South.
go with him.
you know that's not allowed.
Will somebody tell me what the friggity thooksmay is going on?
Butters, you've reached the age where you must journey to your birthplace for the ceremony of Hapa Noa.
Hapa Noa.
But I'm from here.
No, we moved here just before you started preschool. You were born in our native land, Butters, a distant and very secluded island world called Hawaii.
It really Hawaii.
Hawaii.
At least, I mean, he got the name right. He's still at least kind of, but oh boy.
Hawaii.
I don't know why I've never noticed, but I'm bothered by the green on their walls now. Who paints their walls those colors, Matt? That
Baby
is
poo green.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was wondering. Like, who does this?
Well, Butters technically did paint the walls with baby poo green, so maybe they got the shit off. They just couldn't get the color out. I don't know.
Oh, a whole theory on why their walls are their color.
From my Future Self and Me episode back in the day.
We're from Hawaii?
Only Howleys pronounce it Hawaii, Butters. But those of us from Hawaii are a very special people. We have many customs and traditions to keep.
All right, Darren, is that how you pronounce Hawaii? Is that how you're supposed to say it?
No, you pronounced it right, but he kind of didn't. I mean, he's hitting that kind of like V sound that we know of on the W, but he's going a little extreme with the akina at the end, which is the little comma. It'd be called an akina there, but Hawaii. I don't know. He's almost like rolling the two I's together. It definitely sounds weird. If you said it like that, they would definitely know you are what he's calling a haole or haole, however you want to pronounce it, which is what they call white people. Yeah, no, you could definitely tell that he is one by how he's pronouncing it, though. And what's funny is someone said Hawaiians or Hawaiians. Yeah, you wouldn't do that either. They actually hardly ever use the word, I feel like. I'm not an expert. I lived there for 2 years. My family's been there for about 100, but I only lived there. Well, no, for basically the senior year of high school. So I'm kind of like where Butters would be at, except I'd never call myself native or even close. I'm so far removed from that. Even with my family being there for like 100 years, I'm so far removed from being native that it's not even funny. Still just a visitor, as my ancestors were there, visitors. Yeah, no, he totally sounds like a white boy pronouncing this word. It's kind of funny. It's almost cringy the whole time because you could tell he's at least trying though.
Right. So here's them going through their picture book now, their album, and the Stotch, Mr. and Mrs. Stotch here pictured at their wedding. There's wedding pictures itself where they had their
As
wedding.
your mother and I did so very long ago. As a Stotch, Butters, you are actually Hawaiian royalty. Your grandma and grandpa were there in the time of the king.
But what does being Hawaii?
The time of the king being Elvis Presley.
He is though. They actually do love him there still. Like he was respect. He never called himself a native. He was native. He was super respectful of that place. So they actually did like him there. They loved him.
So of course they're referring to the fact that Butters' parents and Butters' grandparents all came to Hawaii during this time, during the Elvis era.
Might have to do with me acting like an emo chick on her period.
Not an emo chick on her period, Butters. Like a salmon needing to swim back upriver. All Hawaiians feel it. It is called Hapahui Apaloha, and it means it's now your time to make your trip to our island home. You must do your walkabout to your homeland, Butters, and you must do it alone.
This is funny. They're like, you must do it alone, and like immediately it's almost like the parents aren't gonna help them. They just get up
Take
and like,
this, son. It
here's
is
a
our
card.
Mahalo rewards card. It will provide you with all you need. And now I must turn my back on you.
Now I must turn my back on you.
Now I must turn my back on you, and I cannot answer any more questions.
He's just like, okay, I'm going to Hawaii, I guess.
Right? He's just like, all right.
I can relate to this, Matt. So much. This is me. All right, you're going to Hawaii. Sorry, bud. Here you go. Well, I can't. Could be worse.
Could be worse. There's worse places to go for sure. Sucks to go. I mean, no matter what, if you're in high school, it sucks if you moved anywhere. But there are worse places to go.
And I love that he's talking about it's like this coming of age thing for Butters, and it's this like big step in his life. But really, like he's pissed off. He's gonna go spend some time in the islands drinking some alcohol out of coconuts, and he's gonna come back in a better mood. Like there's not a lot of. You know, you don't have to really break that down or analyze it too much. The dude's going to go to the islands. He's going to come back in a better mood. That's all of us. You do not have to be from there for that to resonate.
Right. So now at the park, the boys are all playing basketball. Cartman runs up and he alerts them that Butters is leaving for Hawaii. and the boys convince Kenny to go help Butters. So at the airport, Kenny walks in to see Butters crying by the check-in desk. It is revealed that he isn't allowed on the plane by himself. So Kenny volunteers to try and get Butters to go back home, but he refuses. Takes Butters to the check-in desk where the airplane says she can't let anybody on the plane who is intoxicated. Butters goes into a rage as Kenny tries to convince her to let him on the plane. She says Kenny must go with him to be able to fly. Butters starts raging again, but Kenny cuts him off and agrees to go to Hawaii with Butters. Yeah, like that's a bad thing. Like, I'm sorry, I won't volunteer to go to Hawaii with you.
I know. And in the real world, all of his friends are like, take me, dude. Let's go. I'm like, I'm over here. Sorry, a Hawaiian vacation with Butters from South Park is the dream vacation.
Sounds pretty good to me. Sounds pretty damn good to me. So here's the boys at the park now, Cartman.
Hawaii? He said he had to go back to his homeland and then told me it was none of my business and to keep my fat mouth shut. Dude, what the hell? Somebody's got to stop him. After all the things he said to us, he can go ahead. Kenny, you're clearly his best friend. Go stop him. I'm not his best friend. Yeah, Mr. Perfect, go rescue Butters so he can lick your balls some more.
Kenny, I'm not his best friend. Yeah, go help your best friend so you can lick your balls some more.
I know everyone plays tug of war with Kenny. Like Kenny's my best friend. Kenny's my best friend. And then in this situation, they're all like, you're Butters' best friend.
Right. All right. So here is Butters now at the airport, as I mentioned.
They won't let me on the plane. I can't do anything right.
He tries to help Butters. They walk up to the desk.
I have to go to Hawaii, Kenny. I have no idea what's waiting there for me, but I can't go on like this.
Kenny, all right, come on.
I
He needs to go to Hawaii.
told him I can't allow anyone on the aircraft who appears to be intoxicated.
He's a
I'm
child.
not intoxicated, you skank. I'm just delirious because of my Hapa Noa.
Just let him on the plane. It's
Tell
really
you
important,
what,
says
there's
Kenny.
plenty of points on his Mahalo rewards card. If you want to fly with him, I can let him go.
No. Can't you see I'm in horrible pain? Do you have an idea what?
Can't you see I'm in horrible pain? Like what
Kenny's-
pain is okay? He's just upset. He's just annoyed with the world, and he needs to go to Hawaii. It's all good.
Kenny's like, okay, let's go. Let's do this. You know, so fine, we'll go to Hawaii. So plane is shown landing now here at how do you pronounce this? Lahaiu?
Oh, I can't see what you're seeing. So
Lihue. I mean that's Lihue. I don't know.
UE.
Yeah, He like Hugh, Lihue.
It'd be Hue. They'd actually pronounce the whole. I don't know. I'd have to see it.
Hue Airport.
I'm bad at this. I'd have to see
It's
the whole one.
it's probably Lahue Airport. I'm on the same link you're on. I'm on general. So if you're following along on the link I gave you on the main page. You said Hue, so it's probably Lahue. The plane is shown landing in Lahue Airport. Kenny and Butters step off, go over to the Aloha Information Center. Butters says he is a native Hawaiian. He is then approached by a group of people who welcome them. The group is now driving them. They stop at a drive-thru and order some salmon. Driver hands the cashier his Mahalo rewards card and drives off. The driver then shows Butters and Kenny the attractions of Kauai. They drive into the Sheridan residences. Butters and Kenny are then introduced to the protector and the chief. All right, so let's go ahead here. We'll show us Butters now off the plane here in Hawaii.
Well, we're here. Now what do I do?
Can I help you with anything?
I'm not sure where I'm supposed to go.
Okay, were you with a cruise ship or a land tour group?
Oh, I'm not a tourist. I'm a native Hawaiian.
The guy looks at him.
Butterscotch?
Yeah?
Welcome home, young Keiki. Your parents said you would be coming for your ceremony. Who's this?
Oh, this is my friend, Kenny.
Butters, Native Hawaiians don't really approve of haoles coming to their ceremonies.
Oh, please, if it weren't for him, I couldn't have come.
Very well, we shall speak with the chief of our island and see. Come now.
Come now.
The chief of our island. Okay.
Right, as they say that right in front of the
Yeah, look at his eyes. He's speaking
the native Hawaiian guy who's actually working there. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? As I mentioned, now they get in the car with the family, all these people driving through Hawaii.
You folks are all native Hawaiians, too?
Yes, my wife Patty and I have been coming to Kauai for almost 5 years. And Bill and Donna actually own a timeshare in Poipu.
Yes, but Poipu is getting pretty overrun with tourists, I'm afraid.
Let us eat.
Oh, yes, let us eat.
Let us eat. Let us eat. So, of course, they're going to get some food.
Aloha, 5 orders of Simon, please.
What's
Simon?
It's one of the foods of our people.
Oh, I get 20% off. I'm a native. Here's my Mahalo rewards card.
Like Simon Cowell?
Here's my Mahalo rewards card. I get 20% off.
Mahalo.
Simon is good, but...
Come on, you freaking tourists. Jesus, buy a postcard.
Well, that's kind of why they're there. So that way, they don't have a post. So they can see it and experience it.
Yeah.
But you probably shouldn't stop in the middle of the road to take pictures, no matter what country you're in.
It's actually these folks that are doing the thing that you shouldn't do while you're driving through the forest, is honking your horn and causing a bunch of noise pollution. That's actually what would piss people there off more.
Interesting.
People
These
there
are
move
the ancient
relatively
ruins
slow.
of our ancestors.
Right.
They say the spirit of the king is still in there.
It's the old cocoa palms where Elvis Presley, the king, used to sing for all the people.
You must stay away from this place. It is kapu.
Kapu. That means taboo, especially the Howleys.
That there is Bubba's Burgers. In Hawaii, us natives say Bubba's, bro. Here's the Sheraton, just another mega hotel for the throngs of tourists. Here's where many of us natives live.
Bubba's is a real burger place, and it is so fucking good.
Okay, Bubba's Burgers.
Yeah, so good.
So they stay at the residences, the Sheraton residences, obviously not affiliated necessarily directly with the government of Hawaii. It is a hotel where you can live.
The Sheraton Residences. It's all right, we're natives.
You have a giant native sticker on the back of their car. I just noticed that. That's funny.
Oh my... Dude, you would get your ass whooped in Hawaii for this. Do you not realize that, like, mixed martial arts is, like, I was going to say national sport, and it's because spending any time there, you kind of realize they really should be their own country, and they kind of are. Economically, obviously not, and we do things, but the part of the United States, but it really is its own culture and country. And wow, this would piss people off there. They like... Mixed martial arts is their thing, and they are not afraid to use it when they feel disrespected.
A nighttime view after this is shown of the beach. It shows Kenny. He's sitting next to a candle writing a letter to the boys. He describes the experiences he's had and how Butters is doing. And then he is seen reading the letter, and then it ends with Kim talking about a girl on the beach who had some really nice boobs. So we'll jump forward here.
Fair.
Kenny explains... After Kenny and Butters meet the chief and the protector as well. Okay, let me go back here. So here's
Butterscotch. Stephen and Linda's child. Last time I saw you, you were the size of a coconut. Who's the Howley?
Who's the Howley?
Who's the Howley?
Yep, so here's Kenny now, by candlelight.
My dearest friends.
My dearest
I am
friends.
living amongst the natives in the remote and tiny island of Kauai.
I love when Kenny does these little stories. It's funny. Okay. As it continues.
What can I tell you of this mysterious island and its people? It is a place of wonder. And yet to
Safeway.
the outsider like me, a place of odd tradition. The people here are peaceful and joyous and seem to care little for the rush and worry of the outside world.
Like you were talking about, everyone's slow. Everything was a little bit slower in a way.
It is. I mean, it's the same way kind of up here in Washington when you just have so much beauty around you. There's less of a need to rush. And people are also looking at pretty stuff.
True.
Their diet is mostly an odd mixture of coconut milk, pineapple juice, and vodka, which they call the chi-chi. As for Butters, he is quickly learning the ways of his ancestors and seems to be feeling better with every passing day. He still seems quite angry at times, but
This is funny, their response. The boys are going to be like, why is Kenny talking like this?
luckily, his ceremony will finally take place on the morrow.
On the morrow? What the is wrong with Kenny?
Stan. On the morrow, what the fuck is wrong with this guy? All right, as Kenny now wraps up this story.
To wit, I have found nothing wrong with this remote place, and I must admit it will be with some melancholy that I will leave this island and return home.
with some melancholy.
I saw this chick in a bikini on the beach, too. She had the nicest boobs ever. Humbly yours, Kenneth.
Humbly yours,
Kenneth.
Dude,
but what's funny is like most of the times they actually narrate Kenny ever in the show. Like it is super proper like that. It's so funny. He's like the best English speaker of all of them.
So while this is going on now, Butters starts beginning his Hapa Noa. People are helping themselves to food while Butters is given a shark tooth necklace, a conches placed by somebody nearby, and Butters drinks a chi-chi. Ceremony, however, is stopped by a man who announces that the Mahalo Awards card is being eliminated, and the locals are in disbelief as they prepare to rebel against the Hollies, the tourists, basically saying, wait a minute, if they took away our Mahalo Rewards card, how are they going to know that we're not, they're going to end up thinking we're Hallies again, right? We have this card that says we're not Hallies, and now we're going to lose our card. So a cruise ship approaches the island as the locals start hitting golf balls toward the ship because they're mad about the tourists. And on board the ship, both passengers and crew are confused as to what's happening. Butters swings his golf club, and a golf ball goes into the cockpit, and the captain gets hit in the eye, falls back, falls onto the steering wheel, and it breaks off. The cruise ship is then sinking as Butters and Kenny watch the chaos ensue. All right, so let's show here as Butters starts his Hapa Noa, as that's how they're pronouncing it here in South Park.
Honor the native Hawaiian butterscotch with his Hapa Noa. The shark's tooth necklace represents your connection to our island. Now drink the chi-chi.
Whoa, it's like gasoline.
Now get drunk.
Young Keiki, and you will feel the last of your aggression melt away.
Yeah, and I do feel better.
Yeah.
Oh,
Getting
spirits
drunk
of
feels nice, doesn't it,
ancestors,
Butters?
we ask that you bless this native Hawaiian with his
Yeah.
Hapa Noa. We ask that you... Listen,
Yeah.
everyone! I have terrible, horrible
And this is
news.
the guy comes in and
Do you
interrupts.
realize that you are interrupting a Hapa Noa? I've just come from the front office. The
Didn't you know?
Mahalo Rewards card is... What? What has happened? Speak! The Mahalo Rewards card is being eliminated. They're trying to say our points are no longer going to be accepted.
Yeah. That did happen.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. Well, these guys, as I mentioned, they're not too happy about it. They think they're losing their rights as a Hawaiian.
They were just starting to get their drink on.
Who's a native to this island and who isn't? Why
Right.
can't your people respect our island?
Yeah,
Why do
Kenny.
us want more? I'm sorry, Keiki. Your Hapa Noa will have to wait. For we must unite together as never before. It is time to show the Howleys that this is our island!
As they see a cruise ship, I mentioned.
Stop ruining our island, Howleys! Fire!
Now they're playing golf, hitting golf balls.
What are they doing? Take a swing. Let them know they are not welcome.
I've never done this before.
It's all right. Just try to tap into that anger that's inside you.
My
The
anger.
creamy
My
goo.
anger. Stupid. Ben Affleck.
Right to the cockpit.
Ah!
What a fucking shot, dude.
Yep, and it hits the boat, and then it takes the whole boat down. As Butters and Kenny watch in the background. Titanic style.
Butters drops his golf club.
I love you! I love you!
Well,
Now, in fairness, this boat is not too far offshore. These people could swim to land.
we were doing a death count for the boys. How many people have like each person killed to round up by the end of all of this season? By the way, wait for that video. It'll be
Butters
a bit. We got to
definitely.
round everybody up and count everybody. So, but Butters just added quite a few to his total.
Check out a whole ship. Check out a whole cruise line here.
This is breaking news.
And as a result, that now makes the news because they consider it some sort of an act of war.
War
An
would be.
insurrection in the Hawaiian Islands has escalated to war. After sinking a cruise ship, the natives of Kauai continue to go berserk, forcing all tourists off their island. They just pushed us onto airplanes and said we weren't welcome anymore. Then a little boy called me a skank.
Butters.
Butters. Yeah, guaranteed Butters.
The president says he will send the
The president says he will send, but he is, of course, torn because he himself is Hawaii. And then the anchor goes,
Coast Guard to take the island back, though he sympathizes being a native Hawaiian himself.
The guy.
So, okay. I know we always make jokes about my grandparents, Dane.
Enter a Pokemon.
But yes, yeah, we do know Barack Obama was born in Hawaii. What you guys don't know is that he was born in the same hospital room that my grandmother was. That's actually true. That's not the Pokemon thing that Dane likes to say or any of that stuff, but that's actually true. So when the whole debate was running amok about Obama needing to show his birth certificate and whatnot, all that stuff, my grandma was telling us, but we had already known this too. She had been actually a big fan of his before any of us even knew about him. But he went to the high school that was like 2 blocks away from the house that I lived in. People had known him around there. People had known where he was born. People known the hospital. She was, like I said, born in the same hospital room, not just the same hospital. And there are people that still, like older people that still worked at that hospital that can, like, straight up, they worked with people that were there and they have records of it at that hospital. Like it's not their delivering doctor. Like it's something about like the delivering doctor was family members with another person that had still worked there. And that person was like, yeah, my father literally delivered Barack Obama. The documentation still exists at the hospital. So everyone there just thought watching this on the news was absolutely fucking crazy. Everybody trying to say Barack Obama may or may not be American, wasn't born in the United States. Meanwhile, everyone there is like, there's people that grew up with him and families over there that knew his family. And like, they're just like, this is fucking ridiculous.
Right? Ridiculous. All right. So the group of locals again meet up and announce that most of the tourists are now off the island. Of course, one of the locals asks about Kenny, who is standing next to Butters. One of the tourists suggests killing Kenny, but Butters defends him, and the locals worry Kenny will betray them, and he must prove himself to be Hawaiian. So they send him off on his own little quest here. So let's go ahead and we'll pull that up.
Controls you because we were not able to finish your ceremony. Perhaps we should finish it now. Finish his ceremony? We are at war, David! I have lived on this island for 10 years. 10 years! Every July and part of August. And I can tell you all.
Every July and part of August. I got a timeshare. I'm here for 6 weeks every year. What's going on? Where's my rewards points, Darren? Where's my rewards points? Ridiculous.
That's the best one. I'm here every July and part of August.
About to face from the holidays is nothing short of genocide.
He's right, David. We can't trust any tourists.
He will betray us, will you, Kenny?
Then let him prove himself. Trial by Opaika'a. He's only a
trial by Opaika'a. Interesting. All right.
Child. If he wants to be one of us, then he must face the challenge.
So they send Kenny on a challenge, and unfortunately...
Quiet. He must face this challenge alone.
Kenny has to get on a paddleboard. And he's supposed to paddleboard out to, I guess, like a cone.
By the gods. Perhaps he does have the heart of a native after all. He still has yet to make the turn.
He has to turn around the buoy. I'm sorry. So he turns around the buoy.
Wait.
That's pretty good.
This is the trial. That's pretty good. And now he's paddleboarding back, and he falls.
I told you how they couldn't do it. Did you make the turn your first try? Did any of us?
Okay. That's a reference that I'm pretty sure we're going to get to later.
Yep. Well, of course, now Butters sees Kenny, and Kenny's apparently just drifting away.
Don't worry, Butters. Your friend will find his way back to his kind. The gods will protect
Kenny's
him.
Out there.
He's just drifting away. So now Kenny in the river, drifting down the river, the waterfall approaching.
And poor fella.
He falls into the water. And it's at that point, you kind of lose the fact, or, leaves you thinking, okay, Kenny probably just died. But we didn't technically see Kenny die yet, so we know based on South Park lore, unless we actually see Kenny die, he's not dead.
And as we really know by South Park lore, Kenny's never dead. or as we know, Kenny dies all the time. It's all right.
So after Kenny is seen drifting away as he falls down that waterfall, the locals now are meeting to try to come together, but they refuse to join members with the Hyatt Grand Vacation Club. As they struggle to come up with a plan, Butters is asked to come up and speak. Butters says the tourists are ruining everything and that the Grand Vacation Club members start to agree with him. They attempt to celebrate with Chi-Chi's, but realize they have run out because they closed the ports and there's no alcohol. So the locals, of course, are now in disbelief. Let's show a little bit of that. Man, can't take away the alcohol from the alcoholics.
No chance. From white people in Hawaii, no.
I like the Star Trek reference here. I don't know if you catch this with the logo, the tropical paradise.
Yeah.
It's a great meeting because if we are to survive this war, all the native Hawaiian tribes must join as one.
We're not joining the people of the Hyatt Grand Vacations. They have no right to call themselves natives.
Oh, and you do? Your ancestors came on an airplane 6 months ago. Our ancestors sailed here on a cruise ship 9 months ago. Look, if we are to fight the Howleys, we have to allow all natives to stay. It does.
They're arguing over who's more of a native after being in the country for less than a full year or whatever, something like that.
It looks like some of them got Chi-Chis.
Some of them got Chi-Chis going, you're
Doesn't
right.
matter how many tribes we have, we can't win. We are but a few against the Howleys' military might. We may have passion, but passion does not win wars. Oh,
now they're trying to imitate the...
Come up here, Cake. Come on.
Actual Hawaiians?
This
yeah, exactly.
Sunk a cruise ship by himself. Tell them, Cakey.
Well, I don't know about the rest of you, but I'm sick and tired of being pushed around all the time. I came all the way down here for my Hapanoa ceremony, and I can't even have it because the f***ing Howleys have to ruin everything.
Yeah, screw them.
Well, if you ask me, the only good Howleys are dead Howleys. With a stick, well, up his butthole, and his wiener cut off.
Let us make a pact with more Chi-Chis.
So they go to make more Chi-Chis, I mentioned.
We're out of Chi-Chis. Oh, right. We've closed off all the ports. But
Everyone's
they're
about
still
to
letting
lose
vodka
it.
through, right? They can't cut off our Chi-Chis.
We're all about to be sober.
They can't cut off our Chi-Chis.
They can't cut off our Chi-Chis.
That means a very different thing to me, but whatever.
Right. I can't cut off our JJs. All right, so now on the beach, Kenny crawls over to find the cocoa palms. He approaches it as a swarm of bats fly out. He goes inside. Cobwebs or spiders are shown inside that cocoa palms as Kenny walks through it. A voice is heard, and Kenny goes to investigate. He falls through the floor, and it's the ghost of Elvis Presley approaching him. Starts mumbling some song. And as he keeps doing it, he goes over, pulls a lever, opening a stone wall, revealing a huge supply of absolute vodka, pineapple juice, coconut milk, macadamia nut liquor, and all the ingredients for while this is going on, the U.S. Coast Guard now shows up on the island and tells the locals they will take them back by force. The locals fire off golf balls, which miss the ships. Coast Guard captain is looking over with his binoculars and tells everybody to fire. The ships fire and decimate many of the locals. They start to launch bocce balls at the ships, which does nothing, and Butters keeps firing golf balls at the ship. All right, so let's jump ahead here as we continue. Now, Kenny now waking up on the beach after he got hit in the head, after he fell through down a waterfall. Cocoa palms, as I mentioned. Kenny now walks toward it.
Here he is.
Bats flying out.
Forbidden.
All right, so here's the U.S. Coast Guard now.
This is the U.S. Coast Guard. We have instructions to take you by force if necessary. Ready? Fire!
Golf balls now being attacked at the U.S. Coast Guard, and the U.S. Coast Guard, of course, being like,
Fire.
so they start killing these people. Now they're throwing bocce balls.
That is a
God damn
funny
it.
reference to the bocce ball thing, though.
The guy's like, God damn it. And as the bocce ball lands on the ship.
So it is well known there that like all the old white people that like retire in Hawaii, they all play bocce ball. I mean, I think it's pretty popular out here too for the older folks, but out there it's like it's like known for white people to play bocce ball because Hawaiian people do not.
Right, that doesn't seem like a game they would play.
No.
All right, so here's Butters. As I mentioned, he's still angry, hucking off golf balls. And now in the abandoned cocoa palms, we'll find Kenny searching for the answer.
The king of little planet.
So Kenny follows, as I mentioned, and then he goes to pull this lever.
Some of my all-time favorite voices.
Pulls the lever.
I do it.
And out comes all the ingredients for an endless supply of Chi-Chi.
Can you please play that one more time? That's my favorite part.
Kenny.
You know some cheeses on it.
That's one of my favorite voices to imitate, other than like, you know what? No, nothing even compares. I do it at work constantly when we're dealing with music.
So now the chief addresses the locals, telling them that they must surrender to the American government. Butters goes on a tirade about Ben Affleck, about how Ben Affleck gets to make movies and he gets to be married to Jennifer Garner at the same time. It's just not fair. And then a local gets everybody's attention, and Kenny is seen with a raft full of Chi-Chi ingredients. So let's go here, and we'll jump back to Kenny arriving to save the day.
To the American government.
Surrender? No, to heck with that.
We can't hold out here any longer.
Well, I won't do it, you hear me? I'm not licking anybody's testes.
Young Keiki, try to control your anger.
No, this is our home. And I'm sick of everyone who thinks they're better than me just because they got good looks, and just because, even after massacring Daredevil, they happen to come back and hit a home run that everyone loves. You shouldn't be able to be good looking and be with Jennifer Lopez and be a good director.
Jennifer Lopez and be a good director.
All right, fine. Argo is a good movie. There, I admitted it.
So Butters, of course, going on a rant here about Ben Affleck. All right, here's Kenny now arriving.
Fine, Argo's a good movie.
All right, the Howley did it. So,
could you imagine all that toppling over right there, dude? Right in front of their faces.
Suck.
I was just noticing, I have to admit, they did a pretty good job with like the t-shirts and the clothing everybody's wearing. I saw a guy wearing a shirt that said Orange Dirt. And that is that's actually a really popular company and t-shirt out there. That's
okay.
They literally just make all like burnt orange stuff. They just love the color burnt orange, like that, like kind of Texas Longhorns burnt orange thing. And they do have that kind of dirt on Maui quite a bit, and in Hawaii in general. But that's a pretty sweet reference.
So to wrap this episode up now, it cuts back to the boys reading another letter from Kenny. The locals are shown not giving in to the demands of the Coast Guard, and it's revealed the U.S. government has surrendered and that the Mahalo Rewards has been reinstated. And the locals are seen celebrating as Kenny finishes his letter. Butters and Kenny are given their Hapanoa, and they both receive a Mahalo Rewards card. Apparently Kenny got one too. Butters reveals his anger has subsided. He still expresses his disappointment at Ben Affleck being married to Jennifer Lopez, until a local tells him he got it mixed up. He's not married to Jennifer Lopez. He's married to Jennifer Garner.
Yeah.
Butters says he likes Ben Affleck as he and Kenny walk off into the sunset onto the beach. All right, so let's go ahead and we'll wrap up the clips here on this edition of SMB, a South Park review, and we'll wrap up the episode before we get into our trivia pop culture on the other side.
SMB.
All right, so here's the boys now reading the letter.
Truly become one with the natives, who found new courage to fight their oppressors. We are not surrendering today. Go back and tell your leaders that we will fight them until the end.
You People just don't give up, do you?
The American government finally gave in to the natives and had the Mahalo rewards cards reinstated. Our two cultures, it appears, will once again live in peace.
They're all celebrating.
With the war at an end, our Butters is able to have his Hapa Noah ceremony, and with any help from the gods, become his old cheery self again.
And so it is with great honor that we recognize these two natives with their Hapaloa. Take your cards, boys. Apuiloa Hapaloa! Apa'ahoha!
This guy blows the conch.
It's finally over,
Terribly.
young Keiki. Is
I
your
might
anger
add.
at rest?
All right, so now Butters still
Isn't with
lamenting.
Jennifer
Orange
Lopez
dirt?
anymore.
See, that's
He's
the
married
shirt
to
I'm talking
Jennifer
about.
Gardner.
Yep, here's Butters.
What? Really? But I thought I was totally jealous of him. He's just married to Jennifer Garner? Oh my gosh, I feel so much better. Yeah, I like that Ben Affleck guy. He's a good filmmaker. Come on, Kenny. I guess I owe the kids at school an apology. Did you see Argo, Kenny? It's a pretty good movie. Ben Affleck has a lot going for him. Not everything, but a lot.
Not everything, but a lot. That's the whole thing. Butters was mad because he thought Ben Affleck just has everything going from, and he has nothing. Whoopee, as Butters says as the episode ends.
My man Butters, my man.
All right, well,
Literally-
ladies and gentlemen.
Literally nothing happened other than the fact that Butters went to Hawaii and now he's in a little bit better.
He got drunk, went to Hawaii, and got his Mahalo Awards.